Have you ever experienced a sudden, inexplicable drop in energy after a major success? A peak of motivation followed by a crippling valley of doubt? We all have. We hit an all-time high only to crash back down, sometimes harder than before. Most people see this as bad luck or poor discipline, but the ancient masters of Hermetic philosophy recognized it as a universal, inescapable law of existence, the principle of rhythm. This video will give you the key to understanding this rhythm, moving you from being a victim of the pendulum swing to becoming its master. The principle of rhythm is the fifth cornerstone of the Hermetic teachings, as codified in the Kybalion. It states, "Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates." This definitive statement establishes the fundamental transience of existence, highlighting that all manifestations are subject to perpetual flux and movement between opposite extremes, or poles. The euphoria of winning a major contract, that's the swing to the right. The fatigue and self-doubt that creep in days later, that is the inevitable return swing, or the repayment. The scale of the peak dictates the depth of the valley. The biggest problem for most people is that they are enslaved by this rhythm. They become swept away by the flow, allowing their inner emotional state to be dictated entirely by external circumstances. This failure to grasp the law is the engine of the hedonic treadmill, the futile, endless cycle of chasing desire. You get the job you wanted, the euphoria lasts a week, and then the rhythm swings back, forcing you to chase the next, bigger desire to feel the high again. Nothing ever satisfies you permanently. You live as a passive subject of the universe's chaotic flow. But the master of Hermetics operates differently. They know they cannot annul the law. They can't stop the sun from setting or the tide from receding. But they can learn the mental law of neutralization, escaping the law's effects upon themselves. This is the goal of mental alchemy, turning the lead of the lower reactive self into the gold of the higher proactive will. Neutralizing the swing is a two-part process that requires actively asserting your willpower over your reactive emotions. Step 1. Polarization. When you sense the downward swing approaching, that familiar rush of sadness, fatigue, or self-doubt, you must understand that the opposite, positive state is merely the other end of the same spectrum. Your task is to use your will to consciously polarize yourself toward the high end of the spectrum. If you feel fear, you focus all attention on constructive courage. If you feel anger, you consciously shift your mental focus to understanding and patience. You choose the pole where you wish to rest. Step 2. Neutralization. Once polarized at the high end, the universe will still demand that rhythmic swing back toward the negative. Neutralization is the sustained act of consciously refusing to let that swing penetrate your core identity. You acknowledge the negative feeling as merely the pendulum of your emotions, but you refuse to be carried away by it. You are not denying the feeling, you are simply choosing not to be defined by it. You learn to ride the waves of rhythm instead of getting drowned by them. But asserting the will is hard when your body is caught in a chaotic state of stress. This is why the master employs rhythmic physical anchors to stabilize the nervous system, preparing the body for the mind's command. The most immediate tool is rhythmic breathing. Try a slow, deliberate cadence. Inhale gently for a count of 4, hold for 2, exhale slowly for a count of 6. This simple, conscious rhythm of breathing directly calms the autonomic nervous system, moving you from panic to peace, providing the foundation for mental control. Another powerful technique is somatic rhythm, which involves simple, predictable movements to promote self-regulation. When you feel overwhelmed, try tapping each side of your body with your hands, known as bilateral stimulation, or simply taking a rhythmic walk. This physical cadence helps override internal chaos and anchors your identity in stability. The ultimate goal of applied Hermeticism is dynamic persistence. You now know that the downturn is not a permanent failure, but a necessary phase that will inevitably reverse. The master uses the low swing strategically, not for despair, but for learning, planning, and refinement. The contraction of a business cycle becomes the perfect time to streamline operations and get ready for the next expansion. By understanding that rhythm compensates, by polarizing your mind with willpower, and by anchoring your body with conscious rhythms, you achieve that degree of balance and steadiness almost inconceivable to the uninitiated. You don't fight the law of rhythm, you use its energy to drive your purposeful evolution.